Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the February 22nd episode of the Bacon Bets podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube and if you are, subscribe and like the video. You can probably tell this is the first time that I'm actually recording in the morning. As of this second, it is 6:20 a.m. This is the earliest I've been up in years, possibly. So my brain's a little foggy, and of course, last night, the last thing I saw before I went to bed was the Chicago Blackhawks scoring with a minute left against the Vegas Golden Knights. If you watched or listened to the show yesterday, we had Blackhawks team total under 2.5 is 2-1 Golden Knights with a minute left. Blackhawks score, thinking, all right, as long as the Golden Knights win in overtime, the team total under 2.5 will still hit. But no, of course, one of the worst teams in the NHL had to tie it up with a minute left and then win in overtime to go over the team total of 2.5. Gambler is punishing me for the luck I had in January. So 2-2 on the night yesterday with the podcast plays. I hit the Leafs, who look like Stanley Cup contenders now, with Ryan O'Reilly in the lineup. Wearing my Leafs sweater today to celebrate. And what was the other game that I won? It was the other NHL game. The under between the Red Wings and the Capitals wasn't even close in my college basketball pick. St. Joe's lost by 83 points, I think, to VCU. And then, of course, the heartbreak in Chicago. So not only was that a last-second loss, but also that game flipped from it being a profitable night to a slight loss of a night, which always stings. I also had a different college basketball play. I didn't give it out. By the way, if I ever add plays later on in the day, you'll see them on my Bet Stamp account. If you want to follow me there, all my bets are tracked live as soon as I place them. I had the over in Marquette and Creighton, which lost by, I think, 2.5 points. So a couple of heartbreakers last night. I did have Texas as well. They covered by a million. So 1-1 in the plays. I didn't give it on the podcast, but 2-2 in the plays that I did give out. So far we got a terrible night on the podcast. 1-3 on Monday, 2-2 last night. It's improvement. Someone tweeted at me when I sent out the episode yesterday. Do you promise not to go 1-3 again tonight? I said, I don't know. Did I even respond? In my mind, I said yes. And I didn't. 2-2 is not 1-3. Not profitable yet, but we're getting there. Improvement. So let's get into tonight's picks. I got 2 in the NHL. It's a small slate in the NHL. I believe only 3 games. I got picks for 2 of the games. And then I got 2 in college basketball. So we're not wasting time. These episodes are quick, my friends, so let's get right into it with my first NHL pick. I went team total last night under 2.5 for the Chicago Blackhawks. Tonight they play on the second half of a back-to-back, and they're going to play against the Dallas Stars. I'm going to take another team total, but this time I'm going to go against the Blackhawks' opponent. Dallas Stars team total under 3.5. Oh my God, these mornings are killing me. Oh, look, I even, on the graphic there, I didn't even put the right bracket. So, what a little morning treat. A little morning typo. Stars team total under 3.5, plus 129 is what I got of that at Caesar Sportsbook. I'd play it to around plus 120, maybe even plus 115, maybe. I know we're kind of, in a way, betting on the Blackhawks, who are on the second half of a back-to-back here. But the Stars are averaging only 2.04 goals per game over their last 10. That's third last in the NHL. They have a shooting percentage of .650, 6.5 during that stretch. One of the worst in the NHL. Also, the Blackhawks, I believe, let me see, because Peter Mrazek started for them last night. So I believe tonight, it's not confirmed, but tonight I'm pretty sure they have to go with Jackson Stauber. Who is a young guy for them. They just called up in January, and he's actually been pretty solid for them when he has played. In 5 starts for the Blackhawks, he has a 2.77 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. So far, he's been better than Peter Mrazek. So Stars, terrible offense lately, cold offense. I do like the Stars as a bit of a dark horse if you want to take someone to win the Stanley Cup at 14-1. But I'm going to kind of go against them because of just how the offensive slump that they seem to be in as of late. And then, like I said, Jackson Stauber has been playing well for the Blackhawks. So I'll go Stars team total under 3.5 at plus 129. I like the little plus money action that we're getting there as well. All right, second NHL play. This one probably doesn't come as a surprise to you because it's one team that I've bet on a ton this season, and they're going up against a team that I've bet against a ton this season. Haven't had success on either fronts, but hey, maybe when they play against each other, maybe I can find success. I'll take the Calgary Flames on the puck line. -1.5, +125 against the Coyotes. I play this all the way down to +115. The Flames are severely underperforming as of late, but I say that, but it feels like at several points of the season, I keep trying to buy low on the Flames because I think they're playing better than the record. It hasn't worked out yet, but maybe now's the time to do it. They have to get hot eventually. This team is too talented not to. You look over their last 10 games, they lead the NHL in Corsi percentage. Their expected goals percentage is 55.88%, but their actual goals percentage is 49.25%. So when you look at expected goals, they should be dominating teams, but they're not. A big time reason for that is their goaltending situation. Jacob Markstrom just absolutely stinks. He blew it for them in the playoffs last year. He's blown it for them in the regular season this year. Not confirmed who's going to start net for them tonight, but this should just be an absolute mismatch. Let's try not to overthink it, I guess. You look at Corsi percentage over the last 10 games. The Flames are first in the NHL. The Coyotes are 29th. Coyotes are also 30th in expected goals against over their last 10 games. They actually have had some solid goaltending as of late. So if you want to fade me, and if I'm going to, sound like a contrarian against my own pick, if you go off basic goal or recent goaltending experience, it's way too early for me to talk. Recent goaltending results. That's the word I was searching for there. The Coyotes actually have had better results. They've been more impressive as of late. So if you want to take the Coyotes as home underdogs, maybe that's your reason why. But I can't get off the Flames. I'm obsessed with betting on them. I'm obsessed with betting against the Coyotes. I hate betting the puck line, but I got to do it here. I'll go Flames -1.5, +125 against the Yotes for my two NHL plays. There's another NHL game tonight. It is the Jets against the Islanders. Couldn't find any kind of edge or anything I liked in that one. Islanders are slight home favorites, total at 5.5, especially without knowing the goaltending matchup in that game, because if it's Hellebuck and Sorokin, I'd probably lean under. Probably number 2 and number 3 in the Vezina Trophy odds right now. If either of the backup goalies start, that completely switches the entire outlook of that game. So I'm staying away from the Jets Islanders, but for Blackhawks Stars are like under 3.5 team total for the Stars, and Flames puck line at +125. Let's move on to college basketball. A little ACC action to get us started off here. Clemson against Syracuse. I am going with Clemson -3.5. I would play it up to -4.5. This line did not move overnight, so it may not move at all. If it does, it'll probably just move a little tiny bit. But if it does move up 1 point to Clemson, still like him there at -4.5. I will fade Jim Boeheim until he retires, which I hope is at the end of this year. The game has passed him by. I don't care about Syracuse's record this season. I don't care about the record covering the spread. I don't like that Jim Boeheim's hanging around. His defense is not fooling anyone anymore at this point, but I do think there is a stylistic advantage here for Clemson, mainly because the Orange from Syracuse, the 2-point shot shooting team, 25th in 2-point shot rate, 70.7% of their shots come from 2-point range. Taking on a Clemson team that's 26th in opponent 2-point field goal percentage, keeping teams to shooting just 45.5% from down low. So if Syracuse was a big 3-point shooting team, maybe it'd feel different. But Clemson's interior defense should be able to shut down the Syracuse offense. And Clemson also much, much better at home. I would not be betting on Clemson if this was at Syracuse, but 4 of their 5 ACC losses were on the road, and their effective field goal percentage this season is 7.7% better at home compared to on the road. So I like Clemson at -3.5 here against Syracuse. And my other college basketball play, it's a big one in terms of the spread, but it's not going to scare me here. I'm going to go Alabama, a national championship contender this season, potential probable 1 seed, -17.5 against South Carolina. Play it up to -18.5. Now I don't suspect it to get to -18.5 because the number when I wrote my notes last night before I went to sleep was 18, so it's gone actually down half a point. So I don't think it's going to go up to 18.5, but if it does, I would still play it at that number. Let's start with some basics here, just shooting numbers. Alabama 34th in the country in effective field goal percentage. South Carolina down at 328th. So you got one of the best shooting teams in the country against one of the truly worst. 328th is, what are there, 356 teams or something like that? Not good. Not good at all. Now, both these teams are three-point shooting teams. Alabama's 8th in three-point shot rate. South Carolina's 63rd. But Alabama's a lot better at defending it. In fact, they're one of the best. In fact, they're second best at defending the three-point shot. Second in opponent three-point field goal percentage, keeping teams to only shooting 26.4% from beyond the arc. South Carolina, not quite as good. 200th in opponent three-point field goal percentage, keeping teams to shooting 34.3% from beyond the arc. Now, one thing that you want to keep out for that I think might cost Alabama in the long run this season is they do turn the ball over quite a bit. Outside the top 200 in turnovers per possession, but South Carolina doesn't force turnovers at all. 319th in opponent turnovers per possession, so they're not going to be able to take advantage of Alabama's biggest weakness. And then finally, added yet another point in favor of Alabama, which is another big reason why I think this spread is so big. Alabama's 39th in offensive rebounding, South Carolina's 329th in defensive rebounding. So I think the Crimson Tide is going to get a lot of second chance scoring opportunities tonight, a lot of offensive boards when they do miss a three-point shot. Put it back up, score some points, cover this massive spread of 17.5. So there you go. Those are my 4 picks for Wednesday night's action. Stars team total under 3.5 plus 129. Flames minus 1.5 plus 125. Clemson minus 3.5 against Syracuse, and Alabama minus 17.5 against South Carolina. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining me. This has been the February 22nd, Wednesday episode of the Bacon Bets podcast. Please like the YouTube, rate, review the audio version if you're listening to it on that. If you're listening to audio, go over to YouTube and like the video and subscribe and comment. I guess that helps. These mornings might be the death of me. And me losing a team total bet when they have 1 goal with a minute left in the game, that's what's going to kill me. Let's have a winning night. Please, please. Gamble or bless. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.